I'm here with Britton Hart. She fights for bare knuckle fighting championships. Is that how that's how it goes?
Yep, there you go. BKFC Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship.
Okay, and you got a huge fight coming up here. You're going to be fighting PVZ Paige Van Zant. She's making her bare knuckle debut on my birthday. So
Oh,
I get to watch you guys both throw down. It's a perfect birthday gift. I'm super excited, and you've got the experience edge here when it comes to bare knuckle and boxing in general. Your hands have been more developed and refined than hers. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the fight itself. Uh, what are you expecting? Out of this being her first fight in outside of MMA, to my knowledge, anyway.
honestly, I'm really planning to go on there to show her that this isn't easy. This isn't, Dancing with the Stars where it's choreographed. This isn't, you know, training camp videos. 1, 2, hook. Yeah, this isn't that. We're not doing that. This is bare knuckle. And for her to, think that this is easy and that she's just going to walk into it, it's going to be definitely a rude awakening and a lights out Paige Van Sant. So that's what I'm going February 5th to prove. I think, I kind of just had like a little insight on how she thinks about her or her opponent and how she's thinking. So I am definitely there to shut that down and make her regret that she thought that this was an easy transition for her.
Well, and let's talk about the transition itself, because she is your opponent, and she's coming from the world of MMA to a much more specific sport. So she can't take you down. She can't yank at your limbs or anything like that, which is what got her most of her wins in MMA. So the transition itself, do you think it's going to be? Is she in for a rude awakening? Is basically what I'm asking.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it's definitely going to be a rude awakening for me. So possibly the one that breaks her to not even being in BKFC anymore, like career changing or like ending for her. So I definitely think that this isn't, all her fights are MMA. She's got good ground game and she's good kick. She likes practicing jiu-jitsu. For me, I've been a boxer. First off, I grew up street fighting and being a brawler on the streets and in sport, just using my hands. I never took anybody down and I damn sure never kicked anybody, you know. But moving forward, I really worked hard on my hands and striking and defense and boxing. And I fought some really tough opponents in boxing and I definitely changed a lot of people's opinions and got respect on my name in boxing. Because if you look at my box rec, it's not enough just to look at records. You have to look at who that person's fought, how those fights went down, and you kind of got to do your homework and research on that. Just you could go fight someone who's 5-0, and we see it all the time in boxing. They're 5-0, but they fought a bunch of nobodies. They have their first real fight, and then they get knocked the fuck out. And it's like, well, you weren't ready for that skill level because you were babied or padded record in boxing. But for me, you got to look, my record is a true representation of the fighter I have. I've fought anybody. I traveled. I had some upsets. I fought some number one contenders, and I fought out of my weight class. I mean, I've been all over the spectrum when it comes to trying to make a name and trying to be the best pound for pound, best hands in combat sports. So now we're grouping bare knuckle into that. So bare knuckle, I think, is really going to be the future of combat sports. And so it's amazing that, this style is something that I think that I was made and created for. And that I'm not waltzing in, get it? I said waltzing. I'm not waltzing in to say, oh, here I am. Well, let's do this. I mean, I've gone through tons of boxing matches to be where I'm at today, to say, that the skills I have are what's necessary for BKFC. I've fought 3 times and it's definitely been, I didn't get the best hand dealt, but I still dealt with the hand that was dealt to me rather than just folding and giving in like I think that Paige will on February 5th. So again, she's never been in just a hands. So she thinks her hands are so good, but how can you even say that when you haven't had one sport competition where it was just your hands? You know, you hadn't had a matchup or, you know, participated in something that was just hands. You had other things to think about and worry about and be relevant. And so I think that she's really biting off way more than she can chew.
Well, I think it was definitely a very bad move, just career-wise for her. And to go into bare knuckle, wasn't the best with her hands in MMA. So I just can't fathom the thought process that got her to bare knuckle. It's extremely violent, right? So I mean, you see people losing teeth and eyes popping out of their skull, and there's usually blood everywhere. So this isn't a sport for the faint of heart. And you've been through the trenches. You've gone through a few bouts yourself, and I just think that her coming in thinking that this is going to be easy and that this is, the path of least resistance for her is probably a mistake. And that's just one man's opinion. I don't hate PVZ by any means, but other than her social media being a little not for me, right? Right.
Right.
So her social media is not for me. But as a fighter, I respect anybody who gets in that cage. But I do think that it was a mistake taking on this venture without any, real training in boxing or any, and I'm talking just legitimate boxing, not boxing for MMA. I do think that was a mistake, and you do hold the edge in that regard. And I've seen you fight. You're fierce, you're ferocious, you come forward. Most of your losses are split decision losses. So you can make the case that you could be undefeated right now, minus a couple, true losses, right? So I just, the mindset going into this is you're basically fighting a rookie when it comes to the hands, and she's a huge name. So as far as that is concerned, what do you think that's going to do for your career trajectory going forward?
I mean, I really don't want to sit here and I give her too much credit that her name is going to make me famous, or help propel my career because I beat her name. But I do think that it is honestly, I think that it is important and relevant in the fact that maybe I'm not beating Paige VanZant, but the amount of pressure that it is being Super Bowl weekend and being a main event, like I'm looking at it from that perspective. Like, not only is it a huge honor, like to be just a main event, like, but really think about it. This is a male's world, like that we're in, honestly. And especially in combative sports, there's not that many female fights. People talk about it, but there's really not that many. So if there's 14 fights on the card, you're lucky to get one. If you got two, wow, that's great. But it's definitely not 50-50. So for me, I'm looking at it like that type of point of view is that wow, we are females. So awesome respect and credit to her too, that both of us are an actual real attraction. People are really tuned into this fight. One, because Paige is pretty, dancing the stars, but two, because they really know who I am and I'm a real fighter and they know what I bring to the table. So it really makes for the best interesting fight story and something I think people really want to see and be behind. Kind of like like it's just battle of the classes. So, she comes from money, fame, this, and it's going to be someone who really worked hard trying to live the American dream and make it. So I think you have more of that story. But anyways, to build off of that, that's what I'm looking for. So, and to compete under that pressure, it's Super Bowl weekend, it's your birthday. I mean, I'm going to have all these things that I'm like going to be worried about that I want to make sure that I do the best in representation of my name, the people that believe in me, and being on that main, being the main event type of responsibility. So I want to prove that not only, am I going to beat Paige VanZant, but I'm going to, be anyone at that level and move forward. But yeah, I do think that it is obviously, it's career changing and life changing for me because people are going to be tuned in. And like I said, women don't get the spot very often. And so the fact that I have it, I don't want to let this opportunity go because it's not very often that we get it. So when I get it, and now I want to be the person that beat Paige Van Zandt, that people see winning. So moving forward, that's just going to be what it is, and be, awesome. People are going to associate, again, with the American dream, and wow, this girl made it, and now she's doing this and that, and she's going to be the champion. She's going to get the belts. Like, that's what it's going to do for me.
Okay, well, two things here. Now, you said it, so I'm going to build off of it. You said she's pretty. Yeah, okay, she's pretty. But so are you, okay? Got to give credit where credit's due. You guys are both beautiful, okay? Now, second, you're welcome. You're welcome. Second, Bare Knuckle is trusting you with this main event. So I think the pressure of them trusting you with this, this thing over here kind of speaks volumes on what the promotion really truly does think of you.
Yeah, I know. I definitely think that and take it in consideration. And I've heard, like I said, I'm not so naive where I believe everything, but there's some things I feel in my heart and I feel in my gut. And someone said, if Paige wins, great, awesome. She brings in so much to BKFC. But if Britain wins, that's great too. And whoever wins is going to be our full, we're going to support them 100%. And that's how people are looking at it. And I think that that's awesome. And I do feel that, like, there are some people that really want her to win, but there's some people that really want me to win too. And they're for completely different reasons on why they want her to win versus they want me to win. And I think that, at the end of the day, you have to look at the better why and what that person represents more, and kind of look at it long term. Like, yeah, short term, she's pretty and has followers and stuff, but long term, like you said, I could be that. I think most women are beautiful, and strong and can do that, but some of the things that I stand behind are a lot stronger. And I think that's something that maybe the promotion really does want to get behind, and they're really supporting me on that. It's just I have to get this win.
Well, I look at it this way, right? Especially when you're talking about somebody coming over from another organization. So I'm an MMA guy, so I'm going to use UFC and Bellator as the reference here. So you get a guy like Corey Anderson, right? He's the guy that's coming over to Bellator from the UFC. So they give him a really tough matchup and a knockout artist in Melvin Manhoef. So the Bellator guy wants the Bellator promotion wants the Bellator guy to win to prove that Bellator can compete with the UFC at the elite level, right? So I'm looking at through those lenses, like, okay, bare knuckle, if the bare knuckle girl wins over the MMA or the Dancing with the Stars girl, that's a huge, huge win for bare knuckle. I mean, that is a bigger win for bare knuckle than Paige Van Zandt winning, in my opinion, because that shows that the girl who is in this sport, dedicated to this promotion, is better than the girl coming from the elite of the elite and MMA promotions. So this girl's already coming in as quote unquote elite, even though she's never competed in bare knuckle. So it's a huge win for the promotion, in my opinion, should you win on February 5th. My birthday, we've pointed out several times already. Right?
Yeah, I like that. That is a really interesting point. That's why these interviews are so great, and why it's so necessary for the fighters to be able to talk and for you to dig that information out. Because I actually would have not thought of it that way until you said that. So that definitely is cool. That gives me food for thought. Like again, another reason and motivation to prove something else to prove. I like that. It makes complete sense too.
Well, it's, like I said, it's the bare knuckle versus the MMA. That's how people are really gonna perceive it. They're gonna know Paige Van Zandt from Dancing with the Stars or her career over at the UFC. They know you from bare knuckle and boxing. Okay, mostly in this promotion, it's bare knuckle. So that's what everybody's gonna see, and I think it's a huge win for the promotion. It's a huge win for us. It's a huge win for you. It's a huge win for me. It's a huge win for a lot of everybody on this side. And I think that we're all pulling for you and hoping for the best. Now, there is one fight before the fight, right? You got to get through your training camp, which I'm pretty sure you're starting to just, work on weight because you're about what, 3 weeks out?
Yep, 20
Okay.
days.
All right. So now with a boxing or a bare knuckle training camp, when do you start to taper off and it's more just about weight than, getting in the rounds?
So for me, I'm actually at weight right now. So I am actually not struggling with that. As you can see, if you follow my social media and my Instagram, Facebook, whatnot, I
Very
am
true.
looking like I'm getting a little thicker because most people are like, oh, wow, Britain's so skinny, blah, blah, blah. But I have actually been working on putting on weight and putting on muscle in this camp. So I'm actually looking a little bigger than I normally am, but I am still at weight. So I don't have to worry about the weight cut. So as for me, the tapering goes into the amount of activity. I mean, like every day, like right now, my shoulders, I mean, they're a little bit sore, but yesterday I really couldn't even move them. My shoulders, my lats. I mean, we're really putting in the work. My glutes and calves. I mean, when I go in the gym, I'm like, yo, coach, everything hurts, which is what it should be because it means I'm working. Today we did a really good like track workout earlier, and so we did sprints and everything, so that was more of the win. But I mean, I'll be able to gauge it a little bit more tomorrow because actually I'm feeling pretty good right now. But yesterday I was like, oh my god, it hurt. But for me, I think that it's going to be, about a week before the fight, we'll start, not weightlifting anymore. We'll cut that out. And that way, my muscles are going to be all solid. And right now, when I'm training and sparring and hitting mitts, it's when I'm suffering. I'm like, yo, coach, you made me do 200 push-ups, and now I'm hitting pads. Like, this is painful. And I really think that it's going to be like the week of the fight, it's going to be like, what? Oh my God. Like, I really feel like that's what it's going to be like. So I just haven't gotten there quite yet. Even though I feel really good right now, but I do think that that's kind of where we're at now, because the last 3 weeks have been, like I said, walking around like, oh my God, Epsom salt, thank God for freaking Fusion CBD products and their muscle rub. Thank God for Elite Garden and their, I have so many people that are helping me be able to do this and hit 5, with their recovery drink. So I'm doing a lot of recovery right now, like a lot of recovery to keep up with this stuff. So just imagining how great I'm going to be when I'm not worried about recovering is kind of scary. So, but I am like, man, watching my girlish figure as I'm like going up to like 128, 130. I'm like, damn, I'm getting like strong. So it's a good feeling. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. But yes, what am I doing? Working hard every single day. Nothing has changed. I'm not taking rounds off. I'm strength and conditioning. I'm cardio. I'm sparring. I'm technique. I'm all that. And I'm sure the week, like 1 week before a fight, we will start to take the strength and conditioning away, keep the cardio a little bit light, and keep the technique more sharp. And I think we'll be pretty solid that way.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're taking all the necessary steps and, dialing everything in the way that you should be ahead of a pretty big fight. Now, one question I want to ask you, because it seems like all your fights are big. Your next fight is a big fight. So is there any difference in the way that you train for any specific opponent, or is it just balls to the wall all the time, every day for every opponent?
Mm, that's a good. So I am always a balls to the walls type of person. So that's just naturally in my blood, and anyone who works with me and knows me knows that. So I'm definitely a balls to the wall type of girl. But I do try to take in consideration who I am fighting. But really, I tell everybody at the end of the day, that's why I have gotten so far and why I've done so well with my career, is because I don't look at anybody as a name or intimidation, and I just lack complete fear. I mean, and so I can't wait till after the fight because I have so many good stories to share on how I just don't want people to think I'm like crazy right now. But I mean, I just lack fear in so many different ways. But because of that, I look at my opponent as not my opponent, but me just fighting myself and to be the best version of myself. So,
Sure.
of course, if I'm fighting somebody shorter, then yeah, I mean, of course I should use my distance. If I'm fighting someone taller, I should try to get inside. I mean, if I'm fighting someone southpaw, if they switch stances, I mean, those are things to all be mindful of. But at the end of the day, I'm not really giving that much credit into studying Paige because my coach looks at her and my coach knows, and I trust them. I trust the people to do it because other than that, for me, I'm like, look, we're doing bare knuckle. And all her fights, I can watch all her UFC fights, and they don't really, they have small little glimpses that are like really, I mean, not going to tell me that much besides her, and I don't want to underestimate her and be like, damn, her hands sucked in the UFC. What is she thinking that her striking is good? She's really not that great of a striker. But I don't want that to get in my head and me underestimate my opponent and be like, she's a shitty striker and me not expect. So I'm just training for someone who's, 5'4", with a big ass and big tits and who can, move around and wants to be a little bull. And I'm training for that. So that's what I'm training for.
Okay. Okay. And then, so how did you get in to fighting? I know that boxing is your passion. You love boxing. Okay. But how did you get into this, this crazy sport?
Yeah. So a lot of people ask me that. And it's a long story short is that I played traditional sports and I love sports. So, like watching the football game just a minute ago, oh man, like the Saints and Buccaneers game is a really good game. I love sports. So that's where my passion started. I'm also just a very super competitive passion person. So anything I do is 100%. So, anyways, growing up, I had that in me. So it's just naturally there. As a fighter, I had what everyone has, in life. Things don't go your way. So I had to fight through that. So I tell everyone I've been a fighter my whole life. I fought on the streets. I had definitely a lot of rough and tumbles growing up as a kid, growing up as a teenager. Um, I then, I went to school. I was a young mom. So I was battling, working like 3 jobs, going to online classes and taking care of kids, and then having my own house and car and whatever, and just basically doing it all myself. So I ended up getting into a pretty bad marriage for my second marriage, and it was pretty abusive, and it ended up causing a bunch of legal problems and some things. And I ended up going to a boxing gym to kind of cope with that type of stress. And again, it was hard for me playing sports. I couldn't go and play team sports because of all the responsibilities I had. Boxing is more individual and let me kind of have that same thing. So I started going there, and again, I had a lot of problems and issues going on. And my coach and manager at the time was like, hey, you can fight for money and legally legally fight for money, and and do something. And actually, I think that you can really change women's sports. Like, you're somebody different that women's sports and women boxing needs. So he really sold me on that idea. So I did, and my first pro boxing match, it was like, again, you have two important dates in your life, and I really am a firm believer of this. You have two most important dates no matter what. Like, I love my kids so much, they're so important to me, but for every single person, the two important dates are the day you were born, because if you weren't born, nothing else would be even possible right now, and the day you find out why. Whatever your why is, if it's to be a father or a mother, or to set an example or change the world, to change someone's life. I mean, the reason you find why, and a lot of people will find that. And for me, I never really knew why I was born until I started boxing. When I started boxing, my first pro fight, it was literally like that moment. This is why I was born. So, and it's been ever since then. I just believe it. It's crazy. And everyone put me down, a lot of people put me down over it, and like, oh, what about your kids? And that's a whole other chapter. And what about your master's degree? That's a whole other chapter. I got through all the legal shit. I'm good now. And they're like, why don't you do this? And blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're pretty. You're pretty. Why would you mess up your face? All that stuff. And I just believed this is my why and this is my purpose. And I see a bigger picture that's not maybe in the next year, but years from now, and I can still see it. And it's so amazing right now because this is a chapter in my life where other people are seeing it too, where people didn't see it before. Now other people are starting to see it and see the same picture and the vision. So it's like I'm almost creating and seeing my own dream and vision that I had in my head come true and come to light. And it's a really magical, beautiful thing. And it really just makes me want to fight like that much harder.
That's a pretty good story. I heard you got an education in there somewhere. I heard you're a single mom. I heard you had a lot of tough shit happen to you, but look at where you are now. All those people that were saying, what are you doing? You shouldn't be doing this. All these doubters, all these haters, everything. Look at where you are now. You're headlining a major card, one of the biggest sporting events of the year, around one of the biggest sporting weekends of the year. I mean, you're the shit right now. You're the shit.
Exactly. Is thank you. And I feel like it too. I feel like this is, like I feel like this is it. I feel like, I feel really good right now. And and it's not just because of me, it's all the people that are involved in this. And, we're only as strong as one piece, but if you stand your ground, other people start to see it too and make you stronger. So I feel on top of it right now. So it is a great feeling. And then just, moving forward, that's why I have, where you see my fight logo and I have it tattooed on me if you can see it. But
I saw the video for it on your IG.
yeah, so it's my heart, and then it's the phoenix. So it's a phoenix. So it just shows, it's I'm like a living symbol of that. Like no matter what, like I'm here to rise up and be better and, and rise from the ashes and all that stuff that we just talked about. And you said that happened. It doesn't matter. We're still here to rise. And that's kind of what I've been saying ultimately with this Paige VanZant fight on February 5th. This is going to be the icing on the cake on really transforming into that person that rose above all the downfalls and what all negative things people had to say.
100%, 100%. And I'm very happy and excited for you. I mean, we all are. We all are. We're very much looking forward to it. And we gotta we're running out of time here. So of course, I'd love to have you on the show again. You've been a fucking riot. You've been a blast. Okay. But I do have one more question, and it's non-fight related, and I gotta get it in. Okay. So after you beat Paige VanZant, okay, again, my birthday, what are you having as a victory meal?
Oh my gosh. That actually, I can really answer that. Okay. So fried calamari. That's my victory meal. Yep.
Okay, so you eat the homies. Okay.
Yeah. I've
Okay.
got to have it because I've been out here in California and every menu I go to has calamari on it. And I'm trying not to eat fried food because everything, like I said, I'm taking this so serious. So everything in my body has been really good. And I'm like, oh my God, fried food is not good for you, but I want fried calamari. It is like my one thing I really want and I can't have. And so after I win and beat Paige VanZant, my victory meal is definitely fried calamari and like probably a margarita.
Okay. See, there are three things in the world I won't eat because they're the homies. Okay, it's dogs. I won't eat dogs, and it doesn't matter what kind of dog because they're the homies. I won't eat turtles because turtles are the homies, and the third one is squid. They're the homies.
They're
Now,
homies. Oh,
yeah, they're the homies. So for me, I can't. But I don't knock anybody.
worst. I
I
need
don't
to
knock
look that
anybody.
up. What that means, homies. Like,
They're, well, okay, it's like a dog to me. I
I wouldn't
think
eat a dog.
squid, turtles, and dogs are cute. So for me, I couldn't eat
But so are lambs. Lambs, lambs are cute.
them.
Do you eat a lamb?
I can eat a lamb. I can eat a
Oh,
lamb.
they're way cuter than a squid.
I guess. Anyways, I think I need to rework that, or maybe I just haven't had the right calamari.
Oh, okay. Well, ears closed, but yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is for me. And here, I'll add it to it. I definitely want like some type of pineapple upside down cake. That.
See, I'm a dessert. Well, I'm really just a food guy, right?
Me
So I'm a
too.
food guy. I eat everything. That's why I wear this big old sweater so you can't see how fat my ass is. But trust me, I should be a lot fatter. I really should because I'm a food guy. But I can respect the desserts. So now we've come to the point in the interview where I'm going to give you as much time as you'd like to thank anybody who got you to this point in your career. Go ahead, take the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank my home gym back home, Marcus Luck at Luck's Boxing Gym. I mean, he's somebody who's always motivated me to be myself and has had my back no matter what. And he only wants me to get better. And so that's really shown throughout the years and even where I'm at now. So then I have to transfer that and give my huge shout out and appreciation to Haas, which is Joseph Janik down at Knuckleheads Boxing and MMA in Ventura for just, I mean, always again believing in me. We met, we have an awesome, crazy story, but it was like the stars were never really aligned where they finally are now. And I mean, I feel like I'm at home here on the West Side. It feels amazing. I have to thank HKA USA for sure for giving me, yeah, just this part of like, family. And I have these awesome gloves I can't wait to show everyone and use. Fusion CBD products, Hit 5, Belet Organics, Veteran Farms, Royal Credum. Um, they're also huge in helping me my recovery and everything with that. Kevin, big shout out to Kevin. Kevin Smith with Smith Brothers Combat Sports. I tell everyone about him. He's made this extremely stress free for me and helped me to where my training camp is the way that it is. Um, Richie Altuck and Son Wood Products and Afton Service Center. They're people back home that, like I said, my hometown means everything to me for believing me. And then definitely Peyton and Paris. I know that they're cheering their mom home, and thank you for letting me be who I am and not feel bad about it. And I'm so empowered by that and everyone who believes in me and lets me be me. Thank you. I'm doing this for you guys. I promise I'm doing it for me, but I'm doing it for you. I'm definitely here to prove and make sure you guys believe in something great.
Awesome. Anything else?
No, I think I said it all.
All right. Well, Britton Hart is going to be fighting Paige Van Sant in the main event. Bare knuckle. What is the title? It's just bare knuckle something, right?
They are labeling it Knuckle Mania.
There you go. Knuckle Mania, February 5th.
Your
Again.
birthday.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so we're super stoked, and like I said, we're just ready for you to put on the performance that everybody knows that you can put on, and take this girl out.
Awesome. It's gonna happen in the stars.
No pun intended, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, and trust me, we're gonna talk soon.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. Can't wait.
All right. See you later.
Bye.